Hi, welcome. Thanks for joining us. My name is Brian Braiker. I'm the editor of Brooklyn Magazine. I'm glad you guys could be here today. I'm more glad, though, that Courtney Barnett and Danny Cohen could be here. Yeah. Say hi, Courtney.
Thank you. Hello.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone.
We have a tight, I guess, 15 to 20 minutes here, so we'll try to keep this breezy, but thanks for doing this. I loved the movie. It's nice to see that the rock and roll lifestyle is alive and well, the sex, drugs, groupies, trashing hotel rooms.
Ironing.
Where do you call home these days? Where are you?
A little bit of Melbourne and a little bit of Joshua Tree, California.
Nice. It's beautiful. So I'm curious how this film came about initially. Danny, you're a collaborator. You were a music video director, and this is a big departure for you. What was the impetus, and is this the product you thought you were going to end up with?
I mean, we'd kind of just been working together for a while, and then the idea of the doco came about, and we thought we'd just kind of see how it goes. This is definitely not what either of us thought it was going to be, but we kind of just started by doing like 2 tours together and just filming, and Courtney kept the diary. We kind of I cut something together and we saw where it sort of landed tonally and how the feeling was, and just kept going indefinitely till I thought there was enough of a story to tell.
Yeah, and about that diary, you seem to have this push-pull relationship with the audio diary. Can you talk about anything you maybe took away from it, or when you look back on the film now, or now that you're not living with the audio diary, is there anything you miss?
Yeah, I mean, it was a really interesting experiment for me. Probably, it wasn't the most comfortable thing for me, but it was kind of, challenging in a good way, and I think it kind of forced me to maybe something that you don't see as you're writing, or if I kind of keep a sort of a written journal-ish, notebooks, and I think there was an added element of like a kind of subconscious thing that once I got on a roll, a 20-minute ramble,
40 minutes.
it maybe kind of unlocked something interesting. So it was an interesting process.
Yeah, there must be hours of audio that you're sitting on.
Yeah, it was like 30 hours or so.
Wow, B-sides. And speaking of which, there's a moment in the film where you say you overthink what you want to say, and then you end up not saying anything, which makes me wonder how you get a song written. Because I would think that writing a song makes you really overthink or think what you want to say.
Yeah. I guess, again, it's just, I think for me, it's just a process of understanding whatever it is that I'm working out in a song. Yeah, a song kind of takes a while, I guess, for me, but I think the achievement of finally getting there kind of pays off for all that work.
And these are tapes, right? You're not on the Notes app on your phone or anything like that. I wonder if you could talk about that decision and the process of using it. These.
I mean, Courtney, as you can see in the film, isn't like amazing on camera, which is fine. I'm not amazing now, but it's hard to just like when the pressure's on to kind of answer the sort of bigger questions.
It's true, yeah.
Great.
Well, you also weren't given the best, I guess, interviewers in the film. There's some
totally, and I'm definitely not the best interviewer either. So,
but I think I made it clear that I didn't want to do that as well. So the people know.
Even Stephen. So I just thought it's a device to let Courtney talk about how she's feeling whenever she feels comfortable without that sort of pressure of a camera. So
right, but these are actual tapes, is what I'm.
I mean, no, it's a digital recorder, but it's not a phone. I just want it to be its own thing that Courtney can carry in her backpack and bring out when she needed to. I wanted it to be like decent quality audio, but it's tiny. It's like a little like voice recorder sort of thing.
It's interesting that the film, and the press material all describes you as notoriously shy. I've seen you live before. I saw you in Prospect Park a couple of years ago at the band show. Did anyone see that show? Celebrate Brooklyn? you don't come across as shy as a performer. When do you feel like you came into your own as a performer, and where do those sort of two Courtneys intersect?
Yeah, I think it's just I definitely I used to be a lot more like playing would make me a lot more anxious than now. Like now I get nervous, but not like crippling kind of nervous. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I'm sure it's time and experience and all those things, but I don't know. I don't know if maybe I'm shy, but I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I guess that wasn't your description of yourself.
No, I don't think so. It's yeah, I think I'm just quiet, but not shy.
You do say you get unsettled by attentive audiences, so fortunately nobody here is paying attention. But you do describe when you're performing that one day you could be sort of vivid and alive, and the next distant, and it's either the same song or the same set or whatever. In a lot of ways, that's what having a job is, right? It's the tedium of life. How do you, now that you've identified that as a thing, how do you sort of power through it?
I think just accepting that like every day is different and every audience is different, and but I think it's just a kind of one of those things you kind of can't control. I think it's that performance element is just you can prepare as much as you want, but there's such a kind of unknown element that lingers, and that's what makes it so fun as well. Yeah.
So you're still having fun. That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about in the film, you talk about your struggles with true intention. And I wonder if you could talk about, and maybe this goes for both of you or anyone who creates anything, imposter syndrome. We all struggle with it, and there are moments in the film where it seems to be pretty acute. I wonder if you could sort of unpack that a little bit.
Courtney?
Danny?
I mean, everyone goes through it at all, different times of their life and with all sorts of things. And, I wanted to include that in the film because I think it is universal. It's not just related to artists. It's related to anyone with, any part of their being. So I think it's quite nice to see someone in Courtney's position to be going through those sort of similar problems.
Which is what's so lovely about the film, because it humanizes this person who's on stage and on records, but you get to see the person behind the art. But it does get dark at times, right? In the film, there's that scene where you're the wanna die scene, and I wonder if you, Danny, ever worried at all, or if there was an understanding that this was sort of like a therapeutic and cathartic moment, or were you ever like, yeah, I'm a little nervous about where you're at?
This was always really tricky because, like, I'd get the dictaphone every couple of months. Like, I'd back it up off her, and then I'd listen to them and kind of make notes. But, it's always out of sync. So I'd message her and I'd be like, hey, I heard you kind of, like, not I heard, like, you're having a hard time with that, or hope you're okay because you're a friend. But then, like, she's like, oh, that was like months ago. Like, I'm fine. We don't need to talk about that. That's fine. That's fine. It's fine. And so, like, it's always out of sync. And as soon as that happens once, you kind of like, no, I don't know if I should check back in. But then you hear other stuff like that. And, I'd always tell Courtney, just pretend like you're chatting on the phone to me. So it's like, at some point there is a responsibility that I'm like, I need to kind of check in no matter what, which I think is kind of good for everyone, for anyone that's going through anything, that they should just always keep checking in and making sure they're okay.
And you're obviously here with her now. Are you guys traveling together? You're playing New York this week. You're playing Radio City Music Hall. Anyone got tickets?
Yeah, I'm very excited for that show. Because when I got COVID in February, it was the day before that show, and we had to cancel it. So very excited. But no, Danny, you're just here for this.
Yeah, just hanging out.
Yeah,
we're glad to have you. Beyond the audio, which is very intimate in itself, a lot of the scenes in the hotel rooms are also pretty pretty unguarded and pretty intimate. Were you there in all of those occasions, or were you shooting yourself, or how like process-wise did the filming of it work?
Yeah, no, I was there filming it all. It was just me, which is good and bad. Yeah, it's like, really hard. Like,
What was the bad part?
the bad part is like fucking like loading film all the time and traveling with film and not really having anyone to talk to about, like, you just film something, you'd be like, what the hell was that? Like, this is, Courtney warming up in a green room, and I was like, I've shot 5 of those. Like, why do I need another one? But, just, I don't know. It's like really tricky, and film's just a motherfucker.
I mean, would you do another documentary? This is your
I mean, I'd never thought I was going to do this documentary, so I guess I probably would if it came my way. I really want to do one on Nick Kyrgios. So Nick Kyrgios, if you're out
is
there.
he out there?
Yeah, probably not. No.
Gotta put it out there.
Got it. Yeah.
Nick.
Manifest. Patti Smith and Nico both get shout outs in the film. You ultimately take solace in Smith's words, where she says that an artist must continue to do the work. The directive is to offer something meaningful. What meaning do you guys want people to take from the film?
Courtney?
Hey, Courtney. You did this.
It's a great question that's kind of hard. I never quite know how to answer it, I guess. But I guess like my music, it kind of a lot of it is kind of documenting my life and this moment in my life and how I'm kind of moving through something, or and how I'm feeling in that moment. And the film kind of feels similar, and I think it's just I think it's like a connecting with people through those stories. And I guess if people kind of find something useful within the film of any sort, then that's
that seems to be your approach to the music as well, right? Yeah. Of course, not all art has to have meaning, does it? And you do say you want to empower people who need empowering. How do you get empowered when you need empowering?
Patti Smith quotes.
Patti Smith quotes.
I mean, I think just like keeping it, like I guess I've noticed that I think just like soaking in other things and like I love learning new things and soaking in knowledge, and I think that that's like the greatest way to, I mean, for any sort of growth, any sort of like personal change and development, just I guess like soaking in that knowledge and kind of learning through empathy and learning. That's what I like to do.
We're glad you do. I can throw it open to the audience. I can't see anyone, but if anyone wants to shout out a question, we have a mic runner, Phil Donahue style. I see a hand.
Hey, I love the film. I have a question mainly for Danny. I was wondering how much did you sort of know going in what you wanted the film to be, and how much was it more like, like shoot first, figure out what it is later? And if it was more the latter, like what was that process like? Like how did the film kind of emerge?
Definitely shoot first, figure it out later. Just you just got to focus on like every day and just keep shooting something. Like I kind of had like a limit of like 1 or 2 rolls a day, like 10 or 20 minutes. And after a while, I was like, I just kind of need to find one nugget from each roll. And so I kind of just focus on that. With the film, like shipping it off and then not getting it back for a few months too after it's been processed, and same with the dictaphone, it was always really out of sync. So it was hard to let the dictaphone sort of like direct the film too much, and vice versa. So I think I just kind of like, it's like a marathon, just like keep going. And then in the edit, once I've kind of got all Courtney's dictaphone entries, I could make a whole sort of like transcribe the whole thing. And the story was like, this story sort of stood out to me most as the story to tell.
Mm-hmm. You never did figure out how to delete the tapes, did you?
No.
We'll never know.
Aren't you glad?
I didn't. I mean, there'd be no film.
You're alone a lot in the film. Talk a bit about performing solo as opposed to collaborating, because you have a lot of great collaborations. I love your stuff with Kurt Weill. Talk about the creative tug of war when you're performing and creating with others versus when you're solo. What are the sort of pros and cons there?
Yeah, I think there's that moment where I kind of do the solo tour in the film, and I think it just I hadn't done that in quite a while, and I think it was such a challenge for me at that point because it was so different, and it was just stepping outside that comfort zone. But yeah, I guess there's so many different elements. I think in a solo show that there was such a different intimacy with the crowd, and I found myself chatting a bit more, and with the band I feel like I can kind of hide in a little bit, and I felt myself being pushed, and it was actually a really positive thing. So I think it's just a mixture of both.
There seems to be a recurring theme of you going outside your comfort zone are you uncomfortable now? What does going out? Do you deliberately go outside of your comfort zone, or do you find yourself outside your comfort zone?
Maybe a little bit of both. I think it's just like trying to keep an open mind. This is not my most natural,
it's super unnatural.
I saw a therapist at the start of 2020 around COVID, and we were talking about stuff, and she was like, do you know what people's greatest fear is? And I was like, sharks? She's like, no, it's public speaking. #1 in the world. I never knew that. I was like, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I hate it.
Are you still writing haiku?
No.
Do you want to write one right now?
No.
No. Do we have any other question up front? Yeah.
Mine's not really a question. I just thought it related back to what you were saying about Patti Smith and stuff. I work at a record store in New Jersey. Tony Shanahan, the bassist from Patti Smith, comes in all the time.
Has he bought her records?
Yeah, exactly.
Can everyone in the back hear, by the way? Good question. Patti Smith's bassist comes into the record store.
Last week, I was telling my boss that I couldn't be at work today or Thursday because I was going to the show and I was going to this. And as I was going through record collections, sorry, great at public speaking, I found this pin, and it says CB on it. As I was telling him, and I thought maybe you should have it.
Oh, cool.
Oh, a gift.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get it to you. I thought it was.
That's real cool.
I was literally telling him that I couldn't come to work on a Tuesday or Thursday because I was going to see Courtney Barnett.
All right.
And he was okay with that?
And now we have visible audio proof that you were telling the truth.
I know.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So you have a lot of these there's this fan interaction in the movie too with Bobby. Was it on your tour through China?
I actually feel bad about putting that at the beginning because it's kind of sets the tone for the film. Here we go, this is going to be real fun, and then it's next scene. But it's a really special scene. Again, it was just something I shot without even thinking of it. I would have shot 10 of those that day, but Bobby just stood out as the biggest sweetie. In fact, we found Bobby.
I was going to ask.
Yeah, we found Bobby to get him to sign a release form, and he
he's like, no.
he wrote an email being like, that was one of my favorite days, and he wrote exactly the same story as he he's like, I took the bus for 10 hours and blah blah, the whole thing, and he's like, it was such a good day and blah blah, she signed this for me, and wrote all the lyrics. It was awesome. So shout out to Bobby.
Yeah, shout out to Bobby.
Yeah.
Do you remember that happening, or do you, when you go back and watch the film, you're like, oh yeah, or are there sort of countless of these types of interactions?
No, that I remember that day because I guess I don't do that all the time, but sometimes, and yeah, I just remember it was just like extra fun, and the energy was really high, and yeah, lovely.
So we are low on time. I see a hand. This is probably the last one. We can run you a mic.
Hello.
That's perfect.
You did great.
Hey, I'm just curious for both of you. What are some of your favorite things to do when you're in New York? Or how do you spend your time here?
I've been having a real great time at Washington Square Park.
Yeah.
That's the ticket right there. Yeah. They sell these little sticks of, I don't know what's in them, but it's great.
Done any filming there?
No, you just sit there, and that is what it's all about right there.
Courtney, do you get sticks of anything in New York?
No, I just love it here. Like, I got here a couple of days ago and I remembered how much I loved it. I think, yeah, I mean, I've just been walking around lots, and I got stuck in the rain the other day and I was like, yes, this is great. I was so happy. Next time I visit, I'd like to get the ferry.
Yeah. We were talking about Red Hook before we came up here.
I never done it.
You got to do it.
I got to do it next time.
So yeah, what's next? You've got Radio City on the 21st. Are you working on any new material? Any surprises in the works?
For the show or just in general?
In general.
I mean, kind of, but nothing that's even interesting to talk about.
I bet that's not true. All right.
It's like lots of pieces of paper with ideas scattered around. That's
how the magic happens. I think we were out of time. I saw the what was that? I don't know what that hand signal means.
Look at this hand here, though. It's like really, really wanting a question.
All right, you can, and then we can wrap it up after that.
One more question.
Well, this is the last one. Yeah.
I was wondering if we could sing some of Sunday Roast. I love so much when you sang with the audience in the film, so I thought it could be fun if we all sang a line. So I guess this is a question for the audience and for you, Courtney.
Holy shit, the last question was the biggest one of them all.
Yeah, no pressure. Yeah, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do.
If you want to sing this song, it's such a beautiful idea. I just like, without a guitar, I'm like, this is terrifying. But
what's the worst that could happen?
Did you want Danny to sing it?
That's the worst. That's the worst that could happen.
I can't sing. I'll give you some trivia instead.
IMDb trivia?
I'm actually I'm singing along to Sunday Roast in there. The microphone that I captured that particular one with didn't have enough oomph. So we layered a few keep on keeping ons just to really,
Needed some crowd mics that night.
Yeah, they didn't exist there. That was there, but it could have been bigger.
We could give our mics to the audience, and you can. Yeah. Okay, I think we've been vigorously told that we're out of time.
We tried.
Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
guys.
much.